mean it should not be. I want you to take it now, Lord.
Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB.
Macon and WDDO 980 AM.
Perry.
Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Mother Georgia, she's back on live, the historic 980 WDDO. All of a sudden, let's go live into the studio with our host, Brenda Sutton.
And hello.
Hello, everybody. How are you today?
Johnny, why you got your phone? You know, they can look and they can see you, you know, with your face, like not being attentive to our audience. I don't know what to say about Johnny.
How I love our audience. Hello, everybody. How are you today? I hope everybody's having a grateful and wonderful day today. It started out a little gloomy looking outside, but it is absolutely beautiful now.
You know, I want to give a shout out to my homies.
What homies?
My homies down in Sandersville.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Washington County.
Yeah,
Washington County in the house.
Washington County, Tennille, Oconee.
Yeah. A little bit down going South Georgia, like Leesburg and all of them.
Yeah, right around the corner from Deep Step.
Leesburg is in South Georgia, though.
No, but Deep Step is right there in Sandersville. You cross the street and you're in Deep Step. And a lot of people don't know that Elijah Muhammad, whose birth name was Bobby Poole, is from Deep Step, which is like Macon, you cross the street and then you're in Jones County. It's the same thing.
Yeah. He surely will. And you know what? I've done some research down in Sandersville and talked to some of his relatives, and they talked about how mean the sheriff was and stuff. That's why he didn't go back, because they were just real trifling down there with him.
There's talk that my mother's family name is Watts, but we're sort of finding out that perhaps it's not Watts, that it was originally Gundy. And back during slavery time, one of my great something uncles was witnessing one of his sisters being attacked, and he protected her, and it ended up that he had to leave that area. And in order to survive. And then years later, my family returned as Watts instead of Gundy's. So we're still researching that.
Well, you know, of course, I love the research, and so you know, that's just what I like to do. But I just wanted to give a shout out because we have such a wide reach.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Johnny, you know what's coming up, right? Voting.
Oh, yeah. Early voting is now.
Yeah. We want to encourage you all to go out and vote.
Now I'm going to pretend that I'm the common man on the street. What's being voted on right now?
We have primaries, and by the way, you know, you just threw me under the bus because
you don't know either.
I do know. One of the offices that I know that is on the ballot is Verda Coven and Georgia Supreme Court.
Okay.
So I encourage all my listeners. I usually don't do a lot of endorsement, but
we have the best engineer.
We do
in the world.
He just gave me a sample ballot. I just wanted to make sure that I reached out and encourage you to vote for Verda Coven.
Okay.
She's one of ours.
Okay.
You know, Black female, not that has anything to do with, but
Colvin,
she's
C-O-L.
Colvin. Want you to make sure that you vote.
I had a great conversation with her before she left Macon and went off to Atlanta. A lot of people don't know. See, people have for years been going around celebrating Rosa Parks, which, don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with that. But Rosa Parks was not the first person to refuse to get up from her seat. It was Claudette Colvin, and her husband is in that family lineage.
Wow.
It was Claudette Colvin who was the original woman that refused to give up her seat in Montgomery, Alabama.
And you know why?
Was not,
no, it was not. And you want to know why, Johnny?
It was not
because
Rosa
she
Parks.
was dark skinned.
That's why.
And she was dark skinned, and
they thought that Rosa Parks would be more marketable.
And you want to know why too? She was dark skinned. She was 15 and she was pregnant.
Claudette Colvin was pregnant and 15.
And if you had looked at her life to see where she came from, then you could understand it. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying we need to not be so judgmental.
Sure.
But because she was dark skinned, I don't want to say nappy hair, but that's just, that's how people would call it back then.
Okay.
They just didn't feel like she presented well. But you had Rosa Parks. She worked for the NAACP. She was light skinned, and those kinds of things. So want to encourage you and want to encourage you to vote for her. I know her from, y'all know I work on the court.
Yes.
She's the same person that was right here in Macon working for us. And it wasn't any place that she wouldn't go to.
Oh, she's certainly
she was
pleasant,
pleasant
and superiorly intellect and academic,
and just a good person.
Oh yeah, just good people.
Just a good people. And sometimes when people get up, when they get up and they think they all of that, you know what I'm talking about. Think they all that because they all up. She's not that way.
Yeah,
she's been. You started to see Judge Colvin over there, and you can see her in Pleasant Hill.
Oh, yeah.
You could see her in Greenwood Bottom
with the people,
and she'd be out there doing whatever it was. I mean, it was just like she was giving away things, or out there serving people. I've always seen her do that, so I encourage her. Encourage you to vote for her because I'm not saying I have anything against the other candidate. She's good people right here. And look, we have Warnock. We need you to vote for Raphael Warnock. Now, this is on the Democratic thing,
Well, you can't tell them who to vote
Yes,
for.
I can, because Henry paying for the show. Since Henry paying for the show, they can't tell me who not to. Now, some of these people I don't know.
Okay.
But the ones I know, I know.
Okay.
I like Raphael Warnock. Why I'm not going to tell him about Reverend Warnock with Martin Luther King Church? Why I ain't going to do that?
Okay.
Now, if you want to, why I ain't going to tell him to vote for Sanford Bishop?
Okay. Who's his opponent?
I don't know. I ain't saying their name.
Let me see.
Because I ain't giving them no props and stuff right here.
It could be my cousin. Let me see.
Well, that's true. I already messed up with that. Should all Georgians have access to paid parental leave after the birth or the adoption of a baby? Yes, should all Georgians, meaning male and female, should they have paid? I would have to say yes, because I think a lot of men would need to stay home and help their wives with the children.
So this particular bill is for all Georgians.
Right.
Not for minorities and women.
No. Okay. Here's one. Should the United States remove obstacles? Thank you. To economic advancement by forgiving all student loan debt? Yes. We need to forgive student loan debt.
I think that, and I hope this is not taken the wrong way, but if we have enough money to give to Ukraine as we have, then we have enough money to forgive the student loan debts.
Oh, absolutely. Should every 3 and 4-year-old child in Georgia have the opportunity to go to preschool? These are questions. Now, I ain't telling them all the other stuff to vote for, but there you go.
Okay. Thank you so very kindly.
But don't be mentioning no names on there that ain't paid me no money, because this is Henry's money, and I get to endorse who I want to endorse. I say I'm endorsing Raphael Warnock. Bam.
I heard you.
Brenda Colvin. Yes. Who else did I say? Sanford Bishop.
So what about Secretary of State?
I don't know.
Floyd Griffin, what about him?
I told you I wasn't going to be talking about them people. Floyd Griffin, I don't know Floyd Griffin. Let me just say, Floyd Griffin ain't asked for my vote.
Okay.
People who ask for my vote, that means something to me. These people get money for these campaigns. They need to pick up the phone. They need to call people and stop waiting until it's time for them to run for office where they start asking, I'm your friend.
Okay.
I don't like that. I don't appreciate that, really. I find it offensive. And I'm sure a lot of people, my listeners out there, believe the same thing. Give them that phone, that call-in number right there again. Right?
It's 478-250-1444.
And make sure you vote, because this is really important that you get out there and vote. And we were just looking at there's some people.
Miriam Parrish is running again.
Who's running against Miriam? Nobody.
It doesn't say.
She doesn't have any opposition.
And James Beverly
doesn't have any opposition.
Yeah.
And so does I can't think of David Lucas doesn't have any doesn't have any opposition.
He does not.
So if they don't have any opposition, there's no issue. But if they did have opposition, I would say vote for David.
Yeah.
I would say that I would encourage him to do David Lucas. He's never been anything but a servant.
David has done great work for
Miriam Parrish.
For us. Miriam is a jewel.
That's right. Yeah. James Beverly, Dr. Beverly, never. I would encourage you to vote for him. If he had opposition, vote for him.
Yeah.
These are people that when I pick up the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you talked about people not really staying in their lane, when they're running for office or whatever like that, or once they get in office. These people have stayed in their lane. When you call David Lucas, I've called David Lucas, he always responds. I've called Miriam Parrish, she always responds. I've called James Beverly, the same thing. So I don't have issues with these people.
So what about this one? Should marijuana be legalized, taxed, and regulated in the same manner as alcohol for adults who are aged 21 years or older, with proceeds going towards education, infrastructure, and healthcare programs?
Oh, I would say legalize marijuana. Now, there are some people out there, like I say, Henry paid for this show. And in fact, we're going to, and that'll be a great segue to go into our holistic medicine, things like that. I use the CBD oil, what it called CBD oil on my knee.
Okay.
There is some benefit to marijuana. People, let me just say this, Johnny.
Okay.
Just because it's against the law, don't mean that people are not using it.
Sure, absolutely.
People are smoking marijuana.
They issue it for medicinal purposes.
And there's a lot of people that they'll say, well, you know what, it's gonna lead to this, that, and other. And that's true. There's some truth to that. I've done drug and alcohol. In fact, I'm a risk reduction instructor. So I got all of that. And I've taught prevention forever. But I am gonna say this. Just because you tell somebody not to use it don't mean they ain't gonna use it.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's just like with alcohol. People, you can tell folk don't drink liquor, but that don't mean they ain't gonna. You say, I told him not to drink. Do you think to stop anybody from drinking?
Well, it's that even comes down to who you know's basis, because if you're in your neighborhood and a cop stops you that knows you and you over the limit, or he can physically see that you're inebriated, and he might go, look, Joe, you shouldn't be out here like that. Now go straight on home. And then the stranger guy comes by and he gets locked up, and he was nowhere near inebriated as this guy was. So
the thing about marijuana is, I would say legalize it. And the main reason why I say legalize it really is a lot of people are not able to get jobs because they had less than an ounce of whatever marijuana, because they have,
their record is is tarred.
And so I'm like, why are we bothering with that? And they may be some really good people or something like that. I just hate to see somebody get in trouble over that. And
I understand that completely.
And so we already, we've got bigger fish to fry.
Oh, absolutely.
Rather than to deal with that. I have some really liberal ideas, and probably some of which, okay, I agree with you when it comes, all right. Coming in the race. That's right. Asking to get donations. You know what, Shirley? You ain't told nothing but the truth, because they'll come in your face asking for money. I'm talking about some of these candidates, and you don't even see them. You don't even see them until it's time. until it's time to run for
Well,
office.
some of them who are elected officials, you don't see them until it's time to run again.
Oh, why are you talking about Paul Brunson?
I'm just saying.
Why are you talking about my friend Paul?
I didn't say any
Leave
names.
my friend Paul
I didn't say
alone
any
now.
names. All I said was that just as some people who are not known will come by
Right.
and just appear at election time, there are officials who are elected that you don't see or hear from until it's time to run for office again. And then all of a sudden, they've got time to be in your neighborhood again.
You know, and that's why I'm going to give a shout out to Al Tillman. Al Tillman,
Al
is always out in the community.
Yeah.
You know, you want to find him, you may just want to go in the community to find him, you know, because he's out there. I tell you another one, Lester Miller, always in the community.
Oh, I want to say this. If anybody's listening, some of you know that I'm with a nonprofit organization, and we are having our schedule to come to Macon July 16th, and we are searching for a venue to do a back-to-school giveaway, backpacks, pencils, all those kinds of things, some socks and jackets for kids and other items as well. So if you have a venue that's available for July 16th, please contact me. You can find me on Facebook, or here is my phone number, 478-228-0621. It is the Power of Life Foundation. You can go and find us on you can go on the internet, you can go on YouTube, there's stuff about us. You can just look us up, and with the Power of Life Foundation, we emanate out of Birmingham, Alabama, and Tallahassee, Florida. So please contact Power of Life Foundation or me, and if we have in our schedule to do a back to school giveaway for our community July 16th.
Now
we need a venue.
And I tell you what else. Now I have not written her a check yet.
Okay.
But I am going to write her one, which is the Mentors project with June O'Neill.
Oh, June is awesome.
June is awesome.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people right here, now, folks, you say what you want. It's a lot of hungry children.
Yeah.
Right here in Macon.
Oh, yeah.
And it's getting ready to come for the school. You know, so with the school's going to be out. And the children are going to be hungry. Now, I know that some of it is with some of these trifling mamas and daddies who don't feed the children. I got that. I mean, I got it. But I know that June makes them these little bags. And some of the churches do too.
Yeah.
Where it has got like peanut butter, jelly, bread, and some other things that the children bring home that they can, you know, like make little sandwiches and things like.
Well, peanut butter is always going to be a winner.
I ain't like, well, you know, it'll choke you though if you don't have
the
that.
The only thing you don't want to do with peanut butter is put it in the refrigerator.
You ain't lying.
Because it will tear up your bread if you try to make a sandwich.
But I hope that we can get June to come on here, June O'Neill, probably like next week, and have her to talk about where they can drop the food off. Because, you know, when she talked to me before and she said, Brenda, you just don't know how hungry the children are. And they, you know, and the kids are coming, they'll get those bags and they'll take them home and give them to their families. Yeah, fresh fruit and juice too. Shirley is right, because they need that during the summertime. And it's unfortunate that we just got some parents who just, you know, I'm not going to judge them. I'm not in a position to be judged. I'm just not going to do that. That's just not who I am or what I'm about. I'm either going to help with it or not, you know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Henry and I have a check for them. And I hope that other people that are listening, if you don't have, you know, I'll make sure that I get some information so that you can give that, you know, so that y'all can get in contact with the mentors problem. And if y'all don't know June O'Neill is one of the workest white women I ever seen in my life.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I mean, she's everywhere.
Yeah.
And she goes in the hood. She goes in the areas that a lot of folk won't go to make sure that these kids have food. Now, that's one thing about it.
She goes further. I've actually witnessed, she just overheard a conversation with a little boy, and he was wanting to play Little League ball, but he didn't have a glove. And the little boy and the parent never knew she heard them talking. And one day she just pops up, bam, and the little boy's got a glove. So she does things out of her heart. She's a good spirit.
She is a good spirit.
Yeah.
And I tell you, Sharice Stevens helped my friend get a bike, who was dealing with mental illness, and somebody, one of the gangs, beat him up and took his bicycle. We've got some good people here in Macon.
Look, I got to give a shout out to Anderson's Diner and Granny's Country Kitchen, because
they ain't gave me no collard green.
But they are always in the community.
They ain't gave me no collard green.
They used to just be at Anderson's and have giveaways. But now they're going to different communities on different days and setting up and giving away 200 and 300 free meals. So I just got to give Pastor Dexter Anderson and Mrs. Panaya Anderson a big shout out. And, some people know now that Anderson's also has Granny's Country Kitchen out on Harley Bridge Road, same ownership. And tomorrow y'all need to go by because tomorrow there's going to be meatloaf and turkey wings and baked chicken and ham and fried chicken and pork chops and collards and mac and cheese and green beans, cabbage, mashed potatoes, and black-eyed peas.
Where my plate?
We're going to get you a plate tomorrow, Miss Brenda.
Y'all need, and that is awesome. I don't mind doing that.
Let me tell them where it is. 3045 Harley Bridge Road. Open from 11 a.m. until 6:30.
And by the way, don't have an issue with that. And we probably do need to be giving shout out to some of the people in the community who are doing the good work. And for our listeners that are in Sandersville, and some of these other Fort Valley, and some of the other, let us know. You gotta hit us up and tell us.
Yeah, call us. We know that you can hear us.
Right.
We know that you can hear us in Forsyth. We know that you can hear us in Roberta. We know you can hear us in Soperton. We know that you can hear us in Haddon.
We need you to call us. And if you have something that's going on that you want us to give a shout,
we sure will.
I certainly will give a shout out. I don't give a shout out to everybody,
but we will.
But I will give that. So I will.
Shirley Lester is on it today. She said they're giving away fresh fruit and juice.
Fresh fruit. She's right. She's talking. Oh yeah, you know what? Lester was giving away some potatoes. He and Sharice Stevens. I looked up. They done got them a whole truck of potatoes.
Sharice is a good girl. That was a wonderful thing that she did with the bike run. Where did they ride to New York? Or something?
I don't know where they rode, but I know I wasn't riding nowhere with them.
Yeah, but I think they went from Macon to New York.
I don't know what she did, but I just saw them out there with some potatoes and stuff, and I was kind of upset because they weren't sweet potatoes. I was like, I ain't going out there with no white potatoes. I want no Irish potatoes. My mama would call
there's a great benefit in eating sweet potatoes, the red potatoes.
You know what, John? I'm not going to even ask you.
Please don't ask me, but I
won't ask about
longevity.
Okay. You know what? Tell me something, because sweet potatoes are just really, really good for you.
Yeah.
And there are ways that you can heal your body with food and different things. And I do believe that we've got a guest.
Yeah, coming on at 6.
We're
looking forward to Jerome Enders, who is a filmmaker, and he's a local barber, and he's from New York as well.
Really?
And then his wife is Dr. Enders, and she also indulges in homeopathic medicines. And I was speaking with them, and she brought to my attention or woke up again in my thinking that a lot of people post with the heightened when COVID was at a heightening pace,
right?
And a lot of people had COVID and that kind of thing, and then they got over COVID, but they were still feeling remnants of COVID.
Right.
And nobody really addressed it. You don't really hear people going, well, what do you do? How does COVID affect you after you've been cleared of it?
Right.
So
did
it affect your lungs? Did it affect your respiratory system? Like you were speaking about, the blood clots. And so Dr. Enders has some homeopathic methods that she employs that addresses that issue.
Now, homeopathic, is that the same thing as like a home remedy like your grandmama and them would have made?
Using herbs from the earth without using chemicals along with it.
And that's very powerful. My cousin Lana does a lot with homeopathic medicine. She makes these tinctures with blackberry and raspberry and things like that, and mixes them. I'm gonna say this right here with a little vodka. She lets it sit.
Now, hold on.
Wait.
So now we're right back with the white potatoes, because that's what they make moonshine from, right?
I didn't know, but this is medicine. This is medicine. But
some people call moonshine medicine.
Well, my mama do.
Like when people were getting in the woods in the country, when they were out picking cotton and picking peas and following the cows and the pigs around, and there would be snakes sometimes. And snakes might come out and bite them, and they might not have a first aid kit. So they would run and go get some alcohol, like moonshine or liquor, and pour it on their wounds to get rid of the poison.
But my grandmother, Rosie Lester now, what they would do is they would also, she had something called snakeweed, okay, and they would make a tea. Can you read that, Johnny? Please don't forget about
Apostle Rozier and Bishop Scott
working in the community. They fed the nursing home last Friday. Oh, that's excellent. And will target young people who will be at the various centers next week. Isn't that awesome? Thank you, Shirley, for letting us know, because we need to know. Now I like Apostle Rozier. I don't know if he listened to me and stuff like that, because I've been trying to catch up with his morning show and stuff like that, because he got the morning drive.
What time? Oh yeah.
He be wearing us out with the numbers, boy. We can't touch him with them numbers and everything. But want to give him a shout out for doing great work in the community.
They absolutely.
But want to go back to the fact of a lot of times what people do is a lot of with holistic medicine, we're so quick to run to what I call the other kind of medicine.
Mm-hmm.
I like integrated medicine where you mix the two. That's what I like. I like to mix the two of them together and then see what I come up with, because I do believe that that's a better mix for me. Now, I can't speak for other people, but I can speak for me.
I remember as a kid, I sprained my ankle and it was swollen. It was so big.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother got some red clay and some vinegar. And I was like, what is this lady doing? And she took it and mixed it up and put it on my ankle and let it get hard like a cast. It dried up.
Mm-hmm.
But the pain was gone and the swelling went down. So I was like, whoa, what's going on?
And and I tell you what else I can remember, we still talk about the castor oil and the cod liver oil and all of those different things, but I'm sure that now what's the doc's name? Because I want to make sure I get her name
Enders,
right.
Enders.
Dr. Enders had some suggestions for how to clear your lungs, because a lot of people still have residual from the lungs and being able to breathe and stuff. COVID is a nasty thing. You know what I'm saying? It's really, really nasty.
It is. I know firsthand.
Well, I was going to say how you know, but you do know. Johnny, you just over there just texting and stuff on your phone.
I am.
What? And I'm trying. I can't even see your eyes because his eyes covered up with that cowboy hat he got on. You can't see nothing with his eyes on that. Johnny, don't do that though, because then they can see you ain't comb your hair today.
But it's soft.
It's soft. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know. I don't know nothing about Johnny's hair.
Yeah, it won't hurt your hands.
It won't hurt your hands. But I invite our listeners to call in and to and engage us. We're just having a fun conversation. I just, like I said, and just want to make sure that we get some more information out. I love getting new information. I love that. I love it. So are they here? Are they getting ready to come in?
We're looking for them to zoom in anytime.
Okay. Let me put that. And we have to ask Mr. Jackson whether or not they're here, because I done did something to my screen right here.
There she goes again. She's famous for that, people.
What? messing up the screen. That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I do.
And we have gone all this time and not even talked about
no,
Emily and Raymond
well,
on the beach somewhere, and I hope that they are behaving.
no, if they on the beach, they're not behaving.
They're not behaving.
No, they're not behaving.
But maybe Raymond is.
No, Raymond is the one to be acting up. I got a picture of Raymond. I don't know if we still have it in the back, Mr. Jackson. I don't know if it's still back there, but I got a picture of how Raymond cut her up now. I do. I have a picture of what Raymond does. Now, Raymond is not right.
I just wanted to be said that Raymond is a great guy and Raymond is behaving.
Oh, okay. Well, then let them come on in with even if they can't.
Okay.
The Zoom, just let them come on in with the phone. That's fine. Let's see.
Yeah, let them come on in.
But hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm fabulous. I see that this technology is something more than emotion, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, can you hear us or see us?
No, we don't see you, but we do hear you.
Okay, we're trying to get in, but it's just not allowing us to get in. We like the conversation you're talking about.
Okay, so you guys have been listening in, huh?
Yeah, we've
Yes.
been listening.
And
Yeah.
I do identify with the sister talking about collaborative treatments. I do agree with that. And it would be useful or helpful if a lot more doctors, different types of doctors, take part of that, like chiropractors, maybe osteopathic doctors, everybody just take a part of it so we can work collaboratively. Because
you're just making Brenda sound so intelligent.
And you know what else? And she's pronouncing the words right. My husband, Mr. Williams, said, "Baby, now don't get on the show mispronouncing them words." That's what he told me. He said, "Babe, you'll just tear up a word." I told him, "Babe, I went to L.H. Williams. They teach me phonics."
Well, but see, your husband is an attorney, so he has great linguistic talent.
But what I wanted to ask you, though, because you were talking about integrative medicine, is the fact, and especially with COVID. So we're gonna kind of zero in on those listeners that are out there who have dealt with COVID, and I'm still, because I've got a friend who is still dealing with, who's dealing with, like breathing problems and things like that. Can you give us some insight on some of the residual effects that people may, or symptoms or whatever people may have after COVID?
Okay, so I do want to make it clear that I am not a medical doctor. I am a clinical psychologist. However, I do have an interest in holistic healing.
Okay.
Excuse me. And so that's basically what I base my dissertation on, traditional healing.
Okay.
And so what I have noticed, I can say, is that a lot of people who have had COVID-19, they have had similar post symptoms, such as drowsiness, having unsteady gait, having like weakening, just it seems like everyone's still having the same kind of symptoms, just in a lower form. So the best thing I would suggest, or I am suggesting, is that people open up their circulatory and respiratory systems by eating foods that can help them build their system, as well as taking different herbal treatments that can help them to breathe easier. And it also comes with exercise and the way you think, just different things that you do throughout your day, journaling, and making note of how you're progressing, or what you're. Uh-oh, you have to.
We're sorry.
Sorry about that.
That's somebody's on the phone. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Sorry about that. You have to
I have to turn that off. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, because somebody was on a Zoom that was kind of close to us.
Yeah. We're trying to get the picture in. I apologize about that.
Okay. Well, don't worry about the picture. You're good. You were talking about the different foods that you could eat and things of that nature. Help me understand what type of foods you're talking about.
Okay, so just like with anything else, when you change something, you have to replace it with something, whether that's a behavior or whether it's medicinal. So if you're taking like a lot of over-the-counter drugs, you have to replace it with different foods, right? So you may want to start out with like spinach, celery, apples, adding turmeric, ginger, things that can open up your circulatory system and help you to breathe. So think foods that have iron in it, because you need to build your system up, right?
Right.
And then water-based foods as well. So I know I'm not from this country. However, I know that the diet, especially in the South, especially in the summertime, consists of watermelon. That's excellent. Watermelon, cantaloupe, cucumbers, foods like that. So you can open up your system, open up your circulatory, your respiratory system, so you can breathe again.
Oh, that's awesome. So part of it, what I'm hearing too, is foods that they're rich with water, but you're not talking about dairy, because doesn't dairy inhibit, is it a mucus producing kind of food that would be counteractive?
Exactly.
Okay.
Like any dairy foods can build mucus in your system, as well as carrots. You have to be careful with certain foods as well. Yeah. So like as far as milk goes, and cheese and breads and and foods like cottage cheese, foods like that may not be good for your system.
I'm surprised to hear you say carrots.
Me too, because I thought that like carrot juice, because I have a juicer at home, and what I'll do sometimes is I'll juice apples, carrot, and
celery.
I don't juice celery.
Oh,
I know you can.
Yes.
But so I need to start adding celery to my juice.
Yeah, definitely. And it has like a nut type. So if you like nuts, it has like a nut type of taste. And just using myself as an example, as having fibroids, I was able to heal myself. Basically, I drank a lot of water, and I had a lot of herbs, just like herbs are just part of our daily life. We can build a backyard garden, right?
Right.
So we can use basil, rosemary, mint, ginger, oregano, spearmint, eucalyptus. These are all things that you can plant in your own herbal garden, isn't it?
And see, it's interesting that you're talking about just using the herbs to heal ourselves, because I like I don't do the carrot. I'm at the carrot. I don't do the celery, but I do use a lot of the juice. And one of the things that I've done is gone like on a fresh fruit diet just for 21 days, which was very difficult for me, but I did it. I
Right.
did it because I just wanted to like clear my system.
Mhm.
And so part of our problem, Johnny, is that we like junk. We don't
That's
even
true.
like real food.
True.
We like, you know what I'm saying? If you can ask a
It's the
child.
American way to
It's
eat
the
junk.
American way to eat junk. If you ask a child where does corn come from, they tell you the grocery store.
Excuse me, Miss Brenda.
Yes.
Yes, I like to add on to the conversation with my wife when she mentioned she used an example, herself as an example with the fibroids. This whole mission with her as a doctor started by her having fibroids and becoming sick and looking for different methods of healing. And as she has her journey with the fibroids, she started coming up with different holistic approaches to help treat her fibroids when she couldn't get answers from no one else. So that's where I would like her to talk about that a little bit to use a life example.
Yeah, so basically what the nurse practitioner was trying to have me do is take a lot of medications. And so with the medications, I'm not a medication taker because like I said, my family's not from here. So they're into.
Let me ask you, where are you from?
Well, personally, I'm from England. My parents are from Montserrat, and we are African. However, Montserrat is a small island in the Caribbean. It's near Guadeloupe, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, Anguilla. It's in the Eastern Caribbean.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, basically the nurse practitioner was trying to give me a lot of medications that I know I wasn't going to take. And so that's why I was like, okay, I need to take matters into my own hand and go back to basics, pull out the ginger, pull out all the things that I know, do some research on my own and change my whole outlook. And so that's what, and we do like different teas. So senna. So you have to the thing is you have to clean out your system before you build it back up. So using senna, using bitters, things that can clean you out, aloe, right? And then building your system back up and just doing research. I really think a lot of people should know what's going on with their bodies instead of leaving it all up to someone who doesn't really know you.
Right. That's right. And it's interesting that I'm very aggressive with my medical team. I don't mean it in a negative way, but I do it in a way that is, I just think that is something that we need to do to be actively involved in it. Mm-hmm. We need that.
And that's part of collaboration, isn't it? So you're working, you're forcing them to be collaborative with you, which I implore everyone to do, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going home and having to deal with whatever's going on with you, right?
Absolutely. And I think it's very, very important. So when we're advocating that you become more active in your healing. See what she's talking about. That makes
a lot of sense.
Because God gave it to us.
Oh, absolutely.
He gave it to us. He said, okay, if you do this, then you can heal. You just need to be able to, I won't say heal yourself, but a lot of food there ginger is perfect. In fact, I saw a recipe to make ginger shots.
Okay.
And that is awesome.
So that's why they used to eat gingerbread so much and the ginger snaps.
That ain't no, that's processed food.
Because so basically we need to address like how to eat to live, right?
And not live to eat.
Right.
I agree with you all totally.
And the helping hand is at the end of where? Your own arm, isn't it?
Right.
I didn't know when I asked you guys to be on that Dr. Enders, that you and Brenda would be so much on the same page.
But you know what, though, Johnny, putting all jokes aside, and thank you so much, Dr. Enders, I typically don't talk about this because it's not well received.
But it
People
is
think you're
needed.
nuts. They think you're nuts when you start saying, okay, well, for example, I give, at night, I make a tea for Henry of ginger and lemon. Lemon, and I give it, and we drink that on the regular because that's good for you.
I have to say that in the morning, my parents taught me the first thing you do is to have a hot cup of tea. And in that hot cup, you're going to have lemon, basically, right? You're going to have a hot cup of lemon because what you're doing is dispelling the gas from your system because it builds up. And during the day, you may become bloated, but you have to dispel the gas from your system. The first thing in the morning, have a hot, even if it's a hot cup of water, have that hot cup of water in the morning.
Right. And there are some who will leave the water, let it sit in a copper cup all night.
That's true. But I do know some people in the medical field that always says to me, always drink something hot.
In the morning. Well, it's
and they say it doesn't have to be coffee.
No,
it could just be a warm water.
Actually,
hot water.
Actually, the worst thing you can do in the morning is drink a cup of coffee. Even though I do it, but that's the worst thing to do.
But they say just drink hot water.
And the thing about it is our food, for example, when I say it's not real food, it's denatured.
Oh, yeah, it's processed.
Anything, like white bread. Wheat don't come white.
Absolutely.
But how is it white? It's bleached. They take they take all the good stuff out, and then they put the bad. Then they said, well, you know what? We're going to enrich it, so we're going to put all the stuff back in it after you've taken it all out.
Sure.
So a preservative does more than just preserve the bread or whatever it is. It preserves whatever bad stuff is in your body too. Now, I'm not a doctor. This is just me talking. This is my intuition.
Okay.
Hey,
I wanted to just take a moment to say that this couple that we're speaking with I call them a power team, because with all of her accolades and worthy are they, but this gentleman that she's married to is quite an accomplished guy himself. He is a business owner. He's one of a barber here in Macon, and you're from New York, is that right, Mr. Enders?
Yes, sir. Yonkers, New York.
Westchester. And he's also a filmmaker. He's also a martial arts instructor as well. So I'd just like for you to take a moment here to just expound about yourself and some of the things that you're involved with, if you don't mind. And I'm fortunate enough to be in, 3 movies?
3 movies, okay.
Yeah, 3 movies. This gentleman.
Thank you for Johnny for adding your skill set to the total production, because filmmaking is a group effort. I must say that filmmaking is a group effort. My name is Jerome Enders. I'm from Yonkers, New York. I originally started with hip hop. Then I evolved into an author, then a filmmaker. Currently, I'm a content talent agent with a major executive up in the Atlanta area. I'm happy to be here today because when we talk about healing, this whole Dr. KB Enders came from the fibroid healing situation. That's why I keep going back to that. The fibroid healing situation. Johnny was fortunate to add his skill set to one of our movies. He played a doctor. And Miss Brenda, we would like to come back on your show in about 2 weeks, because this film that I'm talking about was inspired by the death of our child. About 5 years ago, with my wife fibroid situation, we lost our child, and that started her journey with going, instead of being negative about the situation, with the death of a child, the grief, we went that way. We had to go through the alchemy and use principles of life to really inspire us to come out of darkness, come light. So she used the death of our child to motivate her to get her doctor's degree. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And at the same time, we use fibroids. She studied fibroids and other inflammatory diseases that she's learned to specialize in to heal others at the same time. So the movie is called Angel. It's about it's the first movie we wrote about. It's based on our life about a couple carrying on in life. Then eventually they make plans for a child. Then the child passes away. But then it shows how we go through therapy and we transform and we resurrect like the phoenix. Okay. Yeah. So that's one of the movies we're about to release in a couple weeks. We use that particular film to help couples that go through therapy that lose children. We give them that movie is designed to inspire, give inspiration. It's going to touch people in different ways. You really don't know what art is going to do.
And it's also, I think that I heard you say that movie is going to be a part of this big directive to deal with grief.
Yes.
And I would, we have never talked about the emotions that is associated with the loss of a child. I can't even think about it. I mean, I have 2 children. I don't even want to think about it. Yes. I have 2 of my own, and then I have 4 others with my husband. We have a blended family, and the thought of that is just devastating. And then I've lost I've lost 3 of my brothers. So when you talk about the loss of a child, and we have so many people in this community who have lost children, especially to violence. Some these are older ones, but I know of people who have lost their children, and I hear that there's no other pain like that.
Well, certainly, I think it is a great giving of themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
To use their story and to use this film to assist people in the grieving process.
And also, as you say, to use it as a platform to create something positive, especially when you're talking about the fibroids and how you use medicine, how you use food.
Yes.
Rather, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that definitely. So my whole basis for this is hitting on inflammatory disease, because I noticed that, especially with the beautifully melanated people in our community, we tend to have sickle cell anemia, what's the Crohn's disease, fibroids. We tend to have these sort of things going on. And so we have to look at the whole self. So when I did my dissertation and speaking to my family in Montserrat and doing the interviews and all of that, the main thing that they say is that you cannot treat one without the other.
Okay.
The whole body is connected. So if you're, I was asking about mental illness and how it's being treated in Montserrat, right? However, they were saying to me, no, it's not just mental illness, it's the entire body. So that's how we have to, we have to change our way of thinking as well in the West.
With Afrocentricity, and the Afrocentric thought, and this is just the pattern. This is something that, I've really been studying Afrocentrism since 1995. And one of the things that I was taught was how everything was connected. So it's very interesting when you talked about Montserrat that they said,
I like the way you said that.
that all of them are connected. It's just not, it's spiritual, it's physical, it's everything. So if you treat just one part of it, for example, if you just treat the physical and you don't treat the spiritual, then it's not going to be whole and complete. So I do believe, and I want to say this is correct, in my study of Egypt, they used to practice medicine on 10 different levels. And that included, and that is the African way.
Exactly.
is that it is everything. It's just not one piece. Whereas here in the West, we tend to deal with just the symptoms and not even the cause of the symptom, but just, in a sense, even though I've had surgery, it's kind of messed up. Why would you take something out of the body?
Right. Because the body regenerates, doesn't it? Right. Yeah.
Right.
And so that's one thing, like with the food, as we were saying earlier, the food helps you to regenerate. However, we are eating food out of its season. And that's another thing with monstrations. They don't eat things out of season. They eat it in season. So the mangoes, they become ripe at a certain time. They come up and they're ripe at a certain time. And that's when they eat them. Sorry.
I want to know because you say in and out of season. What are the effects of eating in or out of season?
So when you're eating out of season, right? That's like your body is not going to receive it when it actually needs that food. For example, your body uses if your body catches a cold or a flu, right? They say have citrus, right? But your body takes a long time to receive that citrus because you're having it all year round. You're not having it in season when it actually grows. When you have something out of season, your body will accept it gratefully, probably. But when you need it in the season that you're sick, because you're having it all year round, your body's not going to take it in as quickly as if you would have had it when you actually needed it.
Okay. Also, Johnny, it's like just being in tune with nature or being in tune with yourself, being in tune with the cycles and the systems of nature.
Right.
Talk about like as a gardener, planting a seed at certain seasons to get a certain crop. They know the science of when to plant the seed, when it's going to grow, and when to harvest it. It's the same thing with us, being in tune with nature, being in tune with pretty much nature, pretty much.
And the other piece of that is, Johnny, when we eat, let's say, for instance, we're getting watermelons, not a watermelon season.
Right.
How do you think we're getting that watermelon? Is it from the ground or is it chemically produced?
Okay.
And there again, we're ingesting chemicals. And it's just little things. We can talk about denatured vegetables or fruits or whatever. I mean, watermelon ain't got no seeds in it. Watermelon has seed.
Of course, think about it. What can reproduce without a seed?
There you go.
Everything on the planet reproduce with a seed. So when you start reproducing without the seed, what we have?
GMOs.
Like I went to the store and I saw some white strawberries. They said, "Oh, these white strawberries." I'm saying, I don't want none of them. Because why would I want a strawberry that all the melanin has been removed?
Hey, Brenda, you remember the old grapes, the old black big grapes with the seeds?
Yeah.
When we was younger?
Yeah.
Do you see them now?
Very seldom. Because we don't want grapes with the seeds in them.
Now,
I want those big black grapes with the seeds that my grandfather used to give me.
Here's proof that we've been having an awesome conversation. We've run out of time and didn't know it. But that's proof that we were having a great conversation.
And see, Johnny's like, I didn't know that she had done all that. Johnny, I've been studying, and I have studied, like I tell you. And
you made Brenda sound a little intelligent today.
Brenda sounded extremely intelligent.
Oh my God!
By the way, I went to Spain and I saw the saint up in Macerat. The with the orb, holding the baby. So and I've been to that mountain and witnessed that. That was just a very beautiful, beautiful sight there.
Yes.
No, she knows what I'm talking about.
I know she knows.
Yes. I've been to Spain, but the original name for Montserrat is Aliodana.
Aliodana.
Yeah, Aliodana.
We need to talk off.
It means the land of the prickly bush.
The land of the prickly bush.
Okay.
Like the acacia.
Before you get off.
All right.
Do it quickly.
Okay, so basically we gave Johnny a lung detox, and in the lung detox you have oregano, licorice, lobelia, peppermint, turmeric.
What is it for?
And it is
Hey, we're going to have you guys back on Monday.
And I need the long detox. So can you get me some?
Yes.
definitely.
Okay.
We'll call you after the show.
All right. And so
Okay.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Be blessed.
We'll get you back on next Monday.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for listening today.
And we will see you next week on All of a
Sutton.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, good show.
You've been listening to All of a Sudden. Join them every Monday evening from 5:30 to 6:30. All of a Sudden with your host, Brenda Sutton. That's every Monday. We'll see you there.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Connecting the community.